You guys tried? No one tried? Or no doubts?
No, not tried. Maybe I'll try today. Yeah, but yeah, clear. It's clear as per the yesterday's class.
How about others? Pritham, Jayalakshmi, Pooja.
Ashwini, I tried to create an organization.
Okay.
Yeah, I log in, I try.
Logging failed.
No. I log in. I try to create an organization. So I just attended yesterday half an hour class. So maybe today I'll complete the remaining.
Okay, don't keep any backlogs, okay? Okay, today we'll start about IAC. What is it IAC meaning? IAC means infrastructure as code. Like you have seen this now in the public clouds like Azure, AWS. If at all you want any of the resources to be created, the cloud infrastructure. So what we are doing actually now, we are logging into the console, the UI, and we are manually creating it. Okay. But again, what happens as the organization grows? Initially, when you are moving into on-premise to the cloud, maybe your organization may be a smaller one. You may you might have created the infrastructure required through manually only, maybe. But as the organization grows, the demand is that so people don't like actually. People don't like, and it is a trend like whatever is being manual, which is taking so much of time, we need to automate it. And other point is also like, how would you know that this is the infrastructure that I've created? And you may duplicate that. Somebody maybe not knowing it, he may come and he may create some more, which may be not in use. So all these problems started. So in order to solve these problems, that means to automate the infrastructure requirement, that means increase the speed of bringing up the infrastructure, whatever it may be, maybe a planning one. So suppose thinking like you already created one infrastructure, so maybe for one project, and now you want to replicate it again. You want to create exactly the same copy it. No matter like again, you have to go on doing it, what you have done in the first step. So imagine that whatever that you have done, you have documented in the form of code, and if it possible to just reuse it in just some simple steps. So that is what is called automation. And you also have the complete data of what you have created. And if somebody comes and tries to recreate it, you should get to know, okay, this is already existing. If at all I want to create new thing, I need to make some changes, then I have to create. Or whatever the additional things I need, only that much has to be created. Okay, so these are the requirements. So in order to solve those, a new tool and technology that started coming in, that is called IAC and IAC tools. What is it? IAC means keeping your infrastructure as code in some configuration files, some files which is in the form of codes. Okay, so this is what is explained here. What is IAC? So meaning IT infrastructure was a manual process. So everything physically you have to when doing it. Okay, so then only after the machines were configured to the connect settings required, the OS dependencies and all those installation, everything again has to be done one more time. Even though you have that, if at all if you want to create it again, you have to be done everything manually. So what happens? So then now they want to automate it, and now we know the most of the tools that are coming in, they're all API driven. To do that, IAC actually came. Okay, so what happens using this IAC? You can see to this customer demands to save cost, application teams architecting their application to support in a much higher level of elasticity, supporting technology like containers and public cloud resources, to do all those things. Okay, in just a small amount of time. So we don't want to go to a traditional way of raising a ticket. So it's like it was earlier like that. If you want, so now actually we have done this automation. You can say in my project, like if any developer wants an RDS, we literally have to create a ticket and you have to assign it to a DevOps team or Cloud Ops team. Now we have automated this part, this specific part of creating RDS. A developer directly goes to an automation engine, maybe a Jenkins or Rendeck. He just creates an RDS of required for his requirement. Okay, so by doing it, what you can do? Of course, the speed increases. So there you can just imagine this specific scenario. We have completely cut off the time that was required to create a story, create a ticket and assign it to a DevOps team. And the DevOps team takes it and he goes and he manually launches it and then informs him back. And again, sending all the credentials and all those things. So at least there will be at least a half day gap, maybe 1 or 2 hours gap. But now, as he knows how to create and launch an RDS by himself, he directly goes and launches. It's just a matter of maybe a launching and all those things may take half an hour maximum. So imagine at least half a day is reduced to half an hour. So that is where speed comes in, consistency as well. So since it's a code, you have kept everything ready as code. There is no point of any errors as well. Human errors, human beings means even if you try to create the same RDS or infrastructure again, he may tends human being, no, tends to err. Maybe some security groups, something may be missing. So, but since it's a code, it generates the same results every time. Very less chances of error and cost as well. You know, just imagine billing a person for 6 hours, billing a person for half an hour. How much cost is reduced? Okay, and also you might be requiring a person separately to keep for this specific infrastructure management alone. So you are reducing all those things. In spite of 3 people, you can keep only one person, or hire engineers for automating all those things, and then there are 1 or 2 you can easily manage all those. Okay, so with everything automated and organized, engineers save up on time and cost, which can be wisely invested in performing other manual tasks and high value jobs. And minimum risk again, since they are well documented, logged, tracked, there is very less of risk. Okay, everything is codified, explicit coding. You can show codes to your people, your team. So if once you write a code, that can be shared again, which ensures the accuracy, maintain uniformity across the team overall using this infrastructure creation. And one more thing is it is version controlled and integrated. Version control means what? So say like you have an IAC already. Suppose you created just an EC2 or an Azure virtual machine, simply directly for the first time. So now you come up with one more requirement, like in AWS, suppose I want an elastic IP. So it's just like another version. No? So in the initial code, there was not there. And the next time, when you applied it, when you created elastic IP was there. That permanent IP has been allocated. So like this, it is also versioned. So this IAC tools will capture this versioning as well. What was there and then what you did. So additional what code you have had it like this. Okay, so this is the advantages. That means the benefits of IAC: speed, consistency, cost, minimum risk, simple, version control, all those things. So to keep your infrastructure as code, there are so many tools. The famous one is Terraform. Terraform is one such open source tool that can be used to provision multiple clouds. Using Terraform, you can provision, you can create multiple cloud infrastructure. You can create Azure, AWS, GCP, DigitalOcean, Alibaba Cloud, many. Terraform supports many cloud infrastructures. And specific to a specific cloud, there are IAC tools. Like for AWS, we have cloud formation. AWS cloud formation. So where you go there, you actually there are, that is also very good. If you're exclusively using only AWS for your entire infrastructure, then that is better. AWS cloud formation. If you just go and draw some pictures of infrastructure that you want, it generates the cloud formation templates. Or you can also write a JSON cloud formation templates there and keep it. The next time if you want, you just go to cloud formation. You already created that cloud formation and just you have to stack it. Similarly, in Azure, Azure Resource Manager is there. Okay, exclusively to maintain your infrastructure as code specific to that cloud itself. So this Terraform is basically used for multiple clouds. So what you can say. So this is another question actually. So which IAC tool you are good with? Like if you say Terraform, okay, why Terraform? Are you your company using multiple cloud? You can mention yes, you can mention no. Okay. If you are using completely Azure, Azure Resource Manager, if you are well versed with, you can tell since we are using only Azure, so I'm good at Azure Resource Manager. Or you can tell we had some other services in AWS as well. So for that purpose, we were preferring Terraform. So we have kept all our infrastructure as code in Terraform. Okay, you can tell like that. Any doubts here till now? No doubts, right? It's just an introduction. Nowadays, Ansible, Chef, and many other configuration management tools also used to keep infrastructure as code. Okay. So now let's start. I just created one virtual machine. So
Can you just
usually,
I'm unable to view the screen, Srini.
everyone, I was
No,
sharing
we
this
can
one.
see. We can see.
I'm sharing the Teams only. Okay, so today we'll try to implement Terraform to the Azure. Okay, we normally do the AWS. We are very much this one. So since you people are good at Azure, we'll try to create some resources in Azure. So I created one virtual machine just now manually. Okay, which is running now. So this is the public IP. So what you need to create to run a Terraform, you need one server. Maybe you can use your local server, or if you have got, you can provision a cloud server. That is also good. So I don't want to burden my local system. So I'm choosing one virtual machine in Azure. So I'll just log into that. So it is accepted. Good. So it's a Ubuntu system. I'm updating it. So let's see how to install Terraform first. You can go to Terraform IO as well for taking that, or you can ask ChatGPT as well. Install Terraform, add one. So you can see this install Terraform option is there. For Linux, what we have to do, this is the wget-no HTTPS. So I preferably check with ChatGPT as well. Let's see what it gives. So this is telling to burn a binary. I should have given prompt like in Linux Ubuntu. So that is what is called AI prompting. That is also one of the jobs that is what do you say, growing now. AI prompting. Yeah. Shikoapp.com Terraform. Okay, they are not giving it directly, then this is the best way. What I'm doing is Ubuntu Debian, I'm directly downloading into a Linux version. I'm copying this code. I'm just pasting it here. Sudo apt update and apt install Terraform. Yes. This is again a binary version. Downloading a binary. I'm moving a binary to user local bin. What happened? It's happening again. Just tried running. Okay, Terraform is there. U146. Now what next? So once after you installing Terraform, so whichever cloud you are going to provision, that cloud's CLI should also be installed. CLI, the command line interface. That means that is again an API that you can interact with your cloud provider through the command line. So for AWS, we normally do AWS configure. Once you do like this, it will actually ask to install AWS CLI. And then you have to do you have to give your private key and secret key, and then it will go. So we will try to install Azure CLI. Okay. So how to install Azure CLI? Any idea?
Srini, for Terraform, in provider section, can we give no
Yeah, it will
this is
download the
not required?
plugin. It will download the plugin API required. Okay. provider will download the required plugin. I'm just downloading, will be downloading Azure CLI now. What are they showing so much? So it's telling CLI repository, signing key, shell. Okay. I'm downloading all of them. You can refer to this done. Date. Install. Azure version. What happens? Who was asking this provider? Now see here, if you give Azure IRM, what happens? Terraform will download the required plugins to create that resource. Okay, if you take AWS or Azure, okay, it will download the plugin. But authentication, how it will happen? How do you authenticate your cloud?
Yeah, we have to create one role, no? For that role, we have to mention that access key and this
That's why
below it
that is
will.
not recommended. Okay.
Okay.
So better, that's why I'm authenticate to my server itself instead of giving your access key, secret key in the code as well. So this is a better way. Okay.
No, like after doing it, we can delete that role later. Like, I see.
Okay. CLI is present. Azure CLI is there. But this is the best way. Create role, attach it. You know, this is so your CLI is you authenticate like this directly. And then you should do is at Azure login. What it does, it basically you have to go to this specific URL and authenticate your Azure account. So in that way, my server will understand. Okay. So my this Azure account is verified. This is the one. Continue. Yeah. So it is verified. Any doubts here till now? You guys followed what I did? I just downloaded Azure CLI, installed it, and then AZ login. Okay, Azure login. So in that way, what will happen? And the .azure directory gets created where it has your login credentials. Are we good to go to the next one? All of you followed what we did till now? Please stop and ask. Yeah.
Srini, can you just do a history and paste the all the comments?
Now, instead of that, I want you people to no, don't follow this. Whatever, if I paste a command, you just don't try that. I don't want
Okay,
that.
yes.
Okay. You try, no problem. You go to Google or ChatGPT, whatever you use, and try to install and run.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think now you guys are in that stage. No? You can do it. No need a spoon feeding now.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Now coming back to Terraform is ready now ready to be implemented. So there is one thing that you need to understand. For writing a Terraform file, a TF file we normally call it as, we need to give something called provider. What does that provider means? In the starting of your Terraform file, the configuration files only, you will mention this. That means on which cloud you are basically going to create infrastructure. So that Terraform will understand which cloud I need to communicate with. That is what the API interactions and exposing the resources. So if you give provider as AWS or Azure, so okay. Terraform will understand, okay, I need to interact with Azure or AWS, and it downloads the necessary plugins that is required to communicate with that cloud. Service infrastructure platform offers resource types that correspond to each of the features in platform. Like for AWS, it will be AWS. For Azure, it is Azure RM. Okay, Azure Resource Manager, like that. So once you basically you write a Terraform file like this, like provider, and then all the below that, all the resources that you want to create. And you basically do first, you will do a Terraform init. Terraform init, basically it's like the commands to download any plugins that we require to download for doing that specific providers. Okay, or else you can also do manually to terraform.d.plugins. Okay, that is also possible into this directory, that whenever you install, this directory gets created, and you can also copy to that. Or once after writing your configuration file with the provider, if you run Terraform init, it will download all the necessary plugins. Okay. So if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade as well. You can see if you want to give multiple providers, you can also do like this. See, he is giving US East one provider, US East one, or you can also give Azure over here. Okay, and then if you want to, I'll share this document. You can just go through. I'll just go a bit faster. So if you want to work on a specific version, you can also use this. So basically, how the Terraform flow happens. You can see we normally apply 4 commands in this Terraform init. Once you run Terraform init, Terraform plan, and then Terraform apply. So Terraform apply. After that, if at all, if you want to destroy or delete your infrastructure created by this Terraform, then you will actually do Terraform destroy. So what is Terraform init? It is a command line to initialize the working directory. So you have your .tf files. So Terraform, if you want to your Terraform to understand your files that you have created, so that .tf file should be there like this. So wherever the .tf files are there, you just go to the directory and just run Terraform init. So and working directory containing Terraform configuration files. During init, the configuration is searched for the module blocks that you're actually trying to create, and the source code for referred modules is retrieved from the locations given in their arguments. So what Terraform will initialize the provider before it can be used. So it basically downloads all the provider plugins when you do that. So this all happens in the backend. So that is what Terraform init. So basically for a resource that you are creating for the first time, you need to do this. Okay, next time, again, if you want to create it, no need to do that. If at all, if you have made some changes, new resources, new providers if you added, then you need to run this. Okay, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, necessary plugins are not there to Terraform init like this. Terraform will throw an error like that. So then Terraform plan. So planning means Terraform will show you, okay, these are the resources I'm going to create. Plan used to create an execution plan. It will modify the things in the infrastructure if it is already done and if you want to create a new one. If at all you have made some changes to the configuration files, it will modify and it will show these are the things we're going to modify. Okay. Basically, you'll get to know what is the desired state, what is going to be getting created. So this gives an execution plan or the set of change matches your expectations without making any changes to the real resource or to the state. Then apply is like applying. Okay, do it, go on, do it, go ahead, go do it like that. So the Terraform apply command is used to apply the changes required to reach the desired state of the configuration. Okay, it will also create a file called terraform.tf state file. This is important. We'll see once it is created. Once the application is completed, resources will be immediately applied. So if you want to reconcile after applying, you can use Terraform refresh. So just to it will not modify any of the infrastructure. Okay, just to want to see the reconcile the state, the complete state of the resources that you want to create it, you can use this Terraform refresh command. Then Terraform destroy is used only to destroy or delete the infrastructure you created from that specific configuration files. Okay, so we have one more command, it's validate as well. So when you have a large codes, that means multiple TF files, you use some variables and different modules and all. In that time, if you want to check the syntax or anything is missing in your configuration files, then you can use this Terraform validate command to check your configuration files are good to go, to check whether it is syntactically valid or not, and all those things. Okay, so this provisions and all we'll see tomorrow. So now what we will do, we will create a simple Terraform configuration file to create an Azure VM, and what are all required to create an Azure VM, and we'll try to run all this Terraform init plan apply. Okay, so to get the code, you can also go to ChatGPT and ask, it will give you. Let's see, it's very simple now. Write a Terraform file to create Azure VM. And I had also tried earlier. So here, configure the Azure provider, Azure products, Azure RM. And then it is trying to create the resources. So what resource you want to create, it should come under this resource. You mention resource and the resource, what type of resource you're going to create. Like this. Okay, USTS. So it is going to create an virtual network by name this one with this CIDR range, with this subnet, this public IP dynamic, and that virtual machine. So under resource, so anything like the resources that you want to create, you should give it like a resource and its name, and then all the required parameters and the properties for that specific resource, you can go and mention it. Okay, so you can see Azure, ChatGPT give the complete list of whatever that you want to give to create a resource, Azure or virtual machine with the different properties, all those. So it is also telling how to do it in it, apply. So what we should do, I'm just copying this code. I'm going to create a directory in the Terraform Azure VM. Okay. CD. There, what I'll do, vi Azure VM dot tf with the extension. Just pasting it over here. So this is just an eye level. You can change to your requirements always, not necessarily only whatever is ChatGPT has given you to use that only. So whatever a type of network or disk or this what you want to create, you can always create that. So he's using password is launching in this way. You can also launch using the PEM key as well. You just have to change how that resource has to create. Okay. So what I have to do it now first? We'll do Terraform init. Initializing the background. It's done. Has been successfully initialized. Terraform. Try running Terraform plan to see changes. Okay. So what Terraform plan will give? It will give what the resources that you are going to create. What is this? On Azure VM network example. Azure network example. The argument location is required, but no definition was found. Okay, there is a mistake in the TF file itself. So this is the problem. Let's go back and see. Guys, got any? What is that error? I'm pretty much not comfortable with that. Azure, just for you people are good. Yeah.
We should change that name as example to another name.
No, the argument location is required, is asking. Says argument location, I think for which one? Azure virtual network. I think we should give location as well for this. Let's try that. It's a good learning. VI Azure. So for virtual network also is asking the location. I'll just put this. Let's see if that works, or else we have to change the configuration file itself. So this TF file has got a lot of issues actually. So what I'll do, I had tried earlier with one more. That was very clean. Let me see that, and we'll use only that. See this, when you want to create an EC2 using Terraform, this is the way. This is the one earlier I used, and it was very clear. It didn't give me any error actually. So what I'll do, I'll replace this complete. This is pretty much simple compared to that. Let's see now. Plan will succeed. Hope it will succeed. Oh my god, it's also failed. Why it is showing like this? Okay, since it was already installed, it is giving this one. We'll do one thing. ADR Azure VM2 CD VM2 there. We'll go. I created one more directory there. I'm going there. If mm, oh, what happened? Azure login is not authorized properly. It is telling. Let's do it again. Okay, there was some issue with CLI actually. Authorized. I think earlier also same. Oh yeah. No problem. Let's see plan. So this is the plan that is going to create. You can check before applying it. Okay, it's the complete details about the resource that is going to create. It is giving you. Done. Okay, once you will check it once before applying it. Any changes that you want to make it, you will make there. Plan we are going to create 6 resources, 0 to change and 0 to just try. Okay, so it is telling Terraform apply. So it will going to ask for the prompt. If you want to eliminate that, you can also use -- auto approve as well. So I'm going to do Terraform apply. Yes, so it is asking. Yes, so if you want to eliminate this was one of the intro question actually someone asked me. Like when you do Terraform apply, it will ask for the prompt to yes, right? I want to eliminate that. How do you do that? You will use in the command line Terraform apply -- auto approve. So that will eliminate this prompt in between. Okay. ID already exists. Yeah. Here's the problem. What happened? Yesterday I created one with the same name. So it is creating this issue. To manage via Terraform, this resource needs to be imported into state. There's all those security groups and other things. No, I created yesterday the same name. So that's why it is creating all this problem. This resource group and other things, which I asked to create now. What I have to do? I have to just change name everywhere now. My resource group is already existing. So give it as one. Virtual network also is present. So for everything, again, it will throw an error if I don't change. Let's see if that is okay or not. So typically, if you are not created, it will create the resource. You guys can try this one. Or else you can as of now there is only one.
We can use Terraform destroy, and after this can we run, or manually we need to delete that?
No, we can run. Yeah, that's a good idea. You should have told that time itself, man. It is creating now. Okay. Yeah, we should have experienced that command as well, Terraform destroy. So it will basically creating now. So it will take some time and it will create.
Actually, Srini, in like in organization, how many people have that accessible? Like only one person is only doing Terraform, or multiple persons?
That depends. We cannot guarantee one. See, there is no standard rule actually, in IT. Maybe all DevOps team may handle. If they are Terraform expertise, they're only maybe doing it. Okay. So one of my, previous batch student, he got into LensCart. He was actually interviewed only for Terraform. His whole duty is that they have already they have the infrastructure. His only duty is his only work is that convert everything, all the infrastructure which is present into the form of Terraform scripts. So his only work is that only. Exclusive DevOps engineer is raised, hired only for that purpose. Yeah, see, apply complete. 6 resources created. Entire DevOps team is responsible, okay? That way, If you're a DevOps engineer, you should be ready to do everything. So you can see, so my virtual machine is created. And it is running. So how I created through infrastructure as code. So if at all you want to add some permanent IPs like I don't know what you call in AIPs in Azure, you just make a changes to that TF file, and just again if you do Terraform apply, only that will be changed. Okay, so now let's do Terraform destroy. Oh, I was about to explain one more thing. Let's see. Gracefully shutting down. What happens once you clear? Yeah, this is one important question. Okay, I created this .tf file. What is this state file in Terraform? What it is? The state file is Terraform is the file that is created by Terraform once Terraform apply is complete. Okay, what it contains is it contains all the information about the resource that you created after Terraform apply in the JSON format. This acts as a single source of truth for the Terraform. See, next time when you do again, you make some changes in Terraform apply, how Terraform will understand that only these resources are changed and I have to apply only that. How Terraform will understand that? That is because it has created its state file terraform.tf state. So every time when you plan and apply, that basically compares with this. So it will understand, okay, in this directory, so this is the state of the resource now. And what happens like, suppose imagine, so this is another question that normally I have faced. First question is like, what is state file in Terraform? You should understand the state file is Terraform is created by the Terraform. Once Terraform apply is complete, it acts as a single source of truth for the Terraform to understand what is the state of the resources that are created. So next time, if you make any changes to that configuration files, so Terraform compares with the state file, the TS state file, to create or delete or whatever you were trying to do it when Terraform apply. Okay. So another question is that, like, okay, you have already created it. Somebody comes and again it does a Terraform apply again. What happens? It will not be created unless until there are no changes in the state files. It will not create because again, if you do Terraform apply, that will basically check with the TF state file. It says it's already created. If you want to take a copy, go to some other directory and you go and create there with changing some names and all. So with this name and all those things, it cannot be created. It's already existing. That's what Terraform says. That's how it avoids duplicacy over here. Okay, so this is the major question that I faced in Terraform. Okay, so another things like provisioners and modules we'll see in the next class. So that's all. So the basic, what is Terraform? What is IAC? How you keep your infrastructure as code, and how do you bring up your infrastructure in the form of code using Terraform or any IAC tools is like this. So this is the fundamental. So whatever next we think is just again, as the demands are grown, the features also will be grown. We'll see some more features in next class. Till now, any doubt? Any doubt? It's altered because I just closed it. That's fine. You should practice this much at least today. So what we have done? We have installed Terraform, we've installed Azure CLI, and then we have created a TF file, Terraform init, plan, apply, destroy. This much should be clear. Any doubts, guys, here? And this backup is actually used to take the versions, how the versions are captured. The versions of Terraform resources are captured using this terraform.txt.backup file. This is also a JSON file like this. If you have any versioned one, again, you keep on increasing the state file, all those versions are captured over here. Any doubts, guys? So basically, nowadays you will be getting questions from Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform only, majorly. If you mention Ansible, and Ansible, and Azure means Azure. If you are very good in all those things, you may get 1 or 2 questions in Linux or Git, Maven or Jenkins. Are we good?